The Indiana Fever they once were at that number 8 spot. Now they are at a record of 21 wins, 19 losses in that 7th spot. We do have a couple of games for the Indiana Fever left. We do see them play against the Mercury away. They play at home against the Chicago Sky on the 5th. On the 7th, they play the Washington Mystics away, and they play the Minnesota Lynx on the 9th. All right, so basically every other day they're going to be playing. This is a winnable playoff spot for the Indiana Fever, right? This is one of those situations where, in terms of Indiana, Seattle, LA, seems like Indiana is in the best possible position to actually eke out a playoff spot. Whether that's at number 7, whether that's at number 8, maybe they're able to jump. Maybe they're able to jump the Valks at number 6, but I anticipate the Indiana Fever being able to win at least 2 of these games against the Chicago Sky and against the Washington Mystics. I don't anticipate them beating the Mercury or the Lynx, and I don't think they need to, unless the Seattle Storm wins the next 2 of their games, and unless the LA Sparks wins 4 out of the 5, it seems likely that the Indiana Fever will make the playoffs. Now, there's some more information that you all need to know. Let's talk about draft picks. Because when we talk about the case for and against making the playoffs, the number one thing in our minds needs to be next year. We got to look at we have to look at the draft and draft prospect. Here's the thing. Teams that don't make it in to the playoffs, they're going to get entered into the lottery, which could be very helpful for certain teams, right? And then for the Indiana Fever, well, they straight up own their first round pick. So the Indiana Fever, if they don't make the playoffs, then they're going to get a lottery pick, which not a bad deal. I'm just saying, not a bad deal. Last year, the Indiana Fever made the playoffs, right? This year, the Indiana Fever likely will make the playoffs. Last year, Caitlin Clark was healthy for the season. This year, she's been hurt most of the season. Last year, this team had Christy Sides, who people declared was a bad coach. They had Christy Sides. They had Kelsey Mitchell, Aliyah Boston, Nalissa Smith, Lexi Hull, Caitlin Clark. This offseason, they brought in a whole bunch of players, right? Bringing in Tasha Howard, right? You got Sophie Cunningham. You got Brianna Turner. You bring in Sydney Colson. You bring in some vets, right? Some vets. You bring in DeWanna Bonner, and you do all this stuff, and you're like, we want to win now. This is a team that has championship expectations. We want to win now. And you bring in the personnel to do that. And we proceed to see not the best season for the Indiana Fever. Last year, the Indiana Fever win 20 games. They go 20 for 20 on the season. All right. So far this year, with 4 games left to go in the season, the Indiana Fever are sitting at 21 wins. Might end up finishing the season with 23. Sure, we did see better success for the Indiana Fever in terms of how they played when everybody was available. But injuries hurt, injuries suck, and injuries can derail your season. Now, do I think that if everybody was healthy for the Indiana Fever, do I think that they would be like a 2 or 3 spot in the playoffs? No. But I do think they'd probably be closer to number 5 or 6 in the playoffs. They'd be in a better situation. But the injuries have kind of derailed things, and which is why I put Stephanie White in a warm seat. Stephanie White was hired basically to win now. She was hired to give the Indiana Fever a championship. That's what she was hired to do. right? You surround her with a whole bunch of talent, but injuries happen, players leave, and now you're in a situation where you are fighting for a playoff spot. So is Stephanie White a good coach? I think so. Should she be in a warm seat? No, in my opinion, she should not be, because again, I think you should give coaches at least 3 years, at least, right? But with all of the hype, all of the attention, and all of the win now of the Indiana Fever, I do think it's a warm seat, right? Because the Indiana Fever are trying to structure it where they can win a championship before Caitlin's rookie deal is over, because they want her to stay with the team for forever, right? They want to capitalize on the notoriety, they want to capitalize on the attention, and they want to win a championship. And so I think it's a warm seat. Should it be a warm seat? No, but I think it's a warm seat because of all the pressure around anything related to the Indiana Fever. Those are my thoughts there. Those are my thoughts there. MMAP says Stephanie is not even in a warm seat for me. The whole team has been injured. The only way I see her in the warm seat is if they can get mostly healthy and get Caitlin back and get swept in the first round. Let's go team by team, and let's talk about the case for and against the playoffs. The case for the playoffs for the LA Sparks is that they have nothing to lose, right? If they don't make the playoffs, they don't benefit with the lottery pick. They don't benefit, right? Because they don't even own their lottery pick. Remember, guys, if the LA Sparks don't make the playoffs, that lottery pick is going to Seattle. So, nothing to lose. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Nothing. Right? The case against the playoffs is nothing for LA. Because, again, LA does not own their first round pick. So, to me, the case for and against for LA is just make the playoffs. Because you don't benefit from not making the playoffs. You don't. Not at all. Because you don't even own your draft pick. So, for LA, make it. If you don't make it, it's fine. You're a whole lot better than last year. And you have a coach for the future. Now, you want to talk about a modern coach? A modern coach? That's Lynn Roberts right there. Yeah, that's Lynn Roberts, right? And the way they play, yeah, that's a different style. Then anyway, let me get off that. Okay, next up, the Seattle Storm. The case for making the playoffs is to save Noelle Quinn's job. I think Noelle Quinn will be severely in the hot seat, likely fired if they don't make the playoffs. So the case for making the playoffs is you save Noelle Quinn. Save Noelle Quinn. And actually show off the potential of the Seattle Storm team. The Seattle Storm is a team that can make it to the second round, right? They have a chance of messing around and finding out, of another team messing around and finding out, and Seattle making it to the finals. It's a possibility. Now, is it likely? No, not likely at all. But you never know. So for the Seattle Storm, it's all about making it to the playoffs because you save your coach. You can save the identity of this team. Here's the thing. Not only is Noelle, in my opinion, going to be gone if this team does not make the playoffs, but also Skylar, NECA, I don't know about them two leading this team for the foreseeable future, because the Seattle Storm ownership wants a championship, right? You bring in 2 stars, didn't work last year with Jewel Lloyd. Okay, you reset this year, bring in some other players, and it's still not gonna work. I think they may be on another team next year. I'm just saying. For Seattle, as I said before, it doesn't benefit them. If they don't make the playoffs, because they do not own their first round pick. Their first round pick goes to Washington. So if the Seattle Storm do not make the playoffs, well, the Washington Mystics have 2 lottery picks for next year. right? Amarachi says Nneka might go to the Sparks next year. I could absolutely see that. I could totally see that, guys. I really could. Yeah. I really could. And then for the Indiana Fever, number 7, the case for the playoffs. The case for the playoffs is you need to show people what the Indiana Fever are capable of doing if healthy, right? You have to show what they can do if they are fully healthy. This is a team that has potential greatness ahead, right? You have the future of your team in Caitlin and Aliyah and Kelsey Mitchell, right? Even though Sophie has gone down, Sydney Colson has gone down, right? Ari McDonald has gone down. You do have some great players that you picked up. Players like Aerial Powers, players like Odyssey Sims. You have Lexi Hull, even despite her black eyes, can get out there and make some stuff happen, right? If the Indiana Fever can make the playoffs, hopefully Caitlin comes back. We could see the Indiana Fever make some serious noise in the playoffs. So the case for the playoffs is truly showing what a healthy Indiana Fever team can do, right? And hopefully spinning the narrative that even more players should be seriously considering going to Indiana next year. Because Indiana, we're going to see them do a similar thing to what they did this offseason. They are going to bring in a bunch of top talent in the league, especially with basically everybody being a free agent with the new CBA that's going to come into effect. Indiana's going to throw the bag at players. And right now you need to further create the narrative that Indiana is the place to be. So for me, this is a situation where Indiana needs to make the playoffs to garner more support for other players to come to the team next year. And to also just show truly what a healthy team could do and what they could have done if they were healthy to start the season. The case against the playoffs for the Indiana Fever, I gotta say, is a lottery pick, guys. Here's the thing. The Indiana Fever are one of the rare teams that actually own their pick for next year. They own their pick. So if you don't make the playoffs, you have an opportunity to be a lottery pick. Now, because you made the playoffs last year, your chances for getting the first pick, the number 1 pick, is going to be low, right? But you're going to be in there. You're going to be in the mix. And can you imagine if the Indiana Fever does not make the playoffs? They wind up in the lottery. They do not fire Steph White, which I say her seat is warm. I don't think she's going to be out if they don't make the playoffs. And they're able to pick up a player. Let's just say they mess around. Let's say they mess around, get a lottery, mess around, get the first round pick. Can you imagine, or second round pick, or what, or not second round pick, the first pick in the draft, or a second pick in the draft, or a third pick? Could you imagine them picking up a player like an AZ Fudd? Can you imagine that? Like, how amazing would that be? Can you imagine? Can you imagine them getting a player like a Lauren Betts? I know you got Aliyah Boston, but what if you moved Aliyah Boston more to that 4 position fully, right? Could you imagine? I'm just saying. Like, I think there's some thoughts there. There are some thoughts there. Can you imagine AZ Fudd, Caitlin Clark, and then we'll see if Kelsey Mitchell wants to stay or not. But like, dog, that would be epic. So there are some possible positives. It's not all is lost, right? It's not all is lost if they don't make the playoffs. There are some positives out there. I'm just saying, because again, they own their pick. They own their pick. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Ghost says Olivia Miles might work well in White's system. I mean, yes. However, if Olivia Miles goes there, I don't think she ever plays. If Caitlin stays healthy next year and Olivia Miles goes to Indiana, I don't think Olivia Miles plays at all, really. Because if Caitlin's healthy, Caitlin's playing, 36, 37 minutes a game, right? And sure, you want a backup, so maybe you get her as a backup. But like, I don't think she plays. I think AZ Fudd could work even if you keep Kelsey Mitchell, right? Can you imagine? You got Caitlyn at the 1, Kelsey Mitchell at the 2, AZ at the 3. Come on, like man, that would be amazing. That would be amazing, but there's only a chance of that happening if and only if they don't make the playoffs. Do they make the playoffs? Yes, I think they make the playoffs. But I'm trying to give an argument for and against the playoffs. That's what I'm trying to do. All right, that's what I'm trying to do. Teacher says Fudd would be a waste in Indiana because all they see is Caitlin Clark. Well, yeah, but if they can transition Caitlin into more of a pass, I mean, we know she's a good passer, but like if they can have her be more of a passer than a shooter, if that makes sense. Like, of course, still have Caitlin do her, which is shooting the low threes and all that stuff. But if they can lower a little bit the amount of shots that she takes per game and surround her with AZ Fudd and Kelsey Mitchell, dog, Caitlin's she's going to average like 17 assists per game. 17 to 20 assists per game if that happened. Now, I don't know if it will, but I'm just saying, like that. Can you imagine? She'd be the first player ever in the WNBA to average, close to 12 plus assists per game if they were able to lower the amount of shots that she took and increase the amount of great looks that she got for her teammate. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how great that would be? It would be amazing. It would be amazing to see. It would be amazing to see. I'm saying not like literally averaging, but like, seeing that happen. I actually do think that could happen. I really do. Maybe I'm delusional. I don't know. But I really do think that if you surround a player with so many shooters, I am just saying. Why in the world are y'all talk about Angel? What does this have to do? y'all, sometimes y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. Go says, who would draft Tanaya Latson? I don't know. I'm interested to see how Tanaya plays with South Carolina. I'm very interested to see that. I think she could play the small forward role. I think she could do it. All right. Yes, that's if they make the playoffs. If they don't, then yeah. If you all notice, it's supposed to be paired up with like their standings. So right now Indiana is anticipated to make the playoffs, which is why they would be likely number 9. Okay. If they don't make the playoffs, then they'll be a top 5 pick. If they don't. Anyway, that's the show. I don't have anything else to say. Thank y'all so much for watching. As per usual, if y'all could, please do me a huge favor, hit that like button. That really does help the channel out a whole lot. Also, if y'all could tell people about the channel and what we are doing here, that would be absolutely amazing. Yeah, man. I don't have anything else to say other than we got a whole lot more WNBA to go. So I hope y'all are entertained. I hope y'all are excited about what we have left in the WNBA. And I hope that this has been a informative show for you all. I really do. I'm trying to expand what we do here to not just talk about the previous day's games, which, yeah, I'll talk about the previous day's games, but like, I want this show to be a show that brings you all facts, that brings you all specifics, and that is able to show you all stuff that you all may not have thought about in a way that you may not have thought about it in. So hopefully I have succeeded in that. If I have, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It really would help the channel out a whole lot. All right. Thank y'all. And I will see y'all in the next one. Let's see. Here we go. Found my end broadcast. All right. Yes, let's leave with this. Steffi says, make Tuesday great and be kind to each other. Yes, be kind to each other. Tell somebody that they matter because they truly, truly do. And until next time, bye-bye.
Are you ready? Ready, set.